Procrastination is the thief of time and the silent killer of dreams. Whoever acts without delay dominates destiny.
Have you ever stopped to think that procrastination is actually a slow form of self-sabotage? Yes. While you wait for the right motivation, or the perfect moment, time, and opportunities, simply slip through your fingers. The truth that few have the courage to say is that success is not a matter of intelligence, luck, or talent. It's a matter of immediate action. Whoever waits, loses. Whoever acts, conquers. And the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary life lives right here. Imagine how many dreams have died just because someone stood around waiting to feel ready. How many incredible ideas never got off the ground for fear of making mistakes. Now think, what if you could train your mind to act before even giving space to fear? What if every decision you make now was the key that unlocks doors to the wealth, abundance, and fulfillment you've always wanted to manifest? It's not about being perfect. It's about being fast. Decide, act, adjust. This is the true secret weapon that transforms lives. Napoleon Hill revealed that procrastination is the silent killer of dreams. And in this video, you'll discover how to defeat it once and for all. No excuses, no delays. Get ready to understand what you've never been told about manifestation, mind power, and personal growth. And if you believe that you deserve a life much greater than the one you are living today, take advantage and subscribe to the channel. It is very important for our growth and for you to continue receiving content that can change your destiny. Now, take a deep breath, because what you're going to learn today could be the turning point you've always been looking for. Often, without even realizing it, human beings create invisible traps for themselves, and procrastination is one of the most treacherous. At first glance, it seems harmless, just 5 more minutes, whine, or I'll do it tomorrow. But this constant choice to postpone is what separates those who achieve abundance from those who just dream about it. Napoleon Hill already said that the greatest enemy of personal growth is hesitation, disguised as comfort. Every small delay reinforces silent limiting beliefs, creating a cycle that undermines the power of the mind and sabotages personal development without the person realizing it. It is curious to realize that procrastination never presents itself as a declared villain. It comes camouflaged in distractions, in banal commitments, in seemingly urgent tasks, but which contribute little to true professional and personal development. The individual seeking self-improvement needs to learn to identify these traps. A practical example? Make a list of all the tasks for the week and highlight in red those that really move you towards becoming rich and manifesting your best version. You will be surprised at the amount of time wasted. By fueling procrastination, people end up reinforcing negative thought patterns, weakening their self-discipline. And without self-discipline, there is no true manifestation, no matter how many affirmations are made throughout the day. The power of the mind needs to be trained to overcome this invisible sabotage. Mental reprogramming starts with small daily victories. Getting up when the alarm goes off, completing that difficult task. Before lunch, starting the personal development book that was forgotten on the shelf. Procrastination also silently affects self-esteem. Each postponed task sends a message to the subconscious. You are not capable. And this inner voice, if strengthened, blocks the path to wealth, motivation, and personal growth. Anyone who really wants to get rich needs to treat each small action as an investment in their own destiny. For those who want a simple exercise, here it is. Choose a pending task now, any task, and complete it in a maximum of 10 minutes. Feel the immediate impact on your emotional state. As powerful as positive thinking is, without action, it becomes just an empty wish. Napoleon Hill reminds us that faith without works is dead. Thinking positively about abundance and wealth needs to be accompanied by decisive and immediate action. Waiting until later weakens the power of manifestation, creates invisible cracks in the success mindset, and keeps limiting beliefs alive, operating behind the scenes of the mind. And make no mistake, procrastination adapts and evolves. Today it can hide in excessive research, tomorrow in perfectionism, then in constant doubt about which is the best path. Therefore, it is essential to be vigilant, recognizing that procrastination is an invisible, sneaky sabotage that undermines not only time, but the very essence of personal development. How can we then neutralize this sabotage and move steadily towards our dreams? The answer involves understanding how indecision fuels fear, and how together they become the biggest thieves of our dreams of abundance, manifestation, and fulfillment. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. But first, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new content. Let's go. Find out how indecision feeds fear. Few things drain the mind more than indecision. When a person hesitates, he not only wastes time, he sows fear within himself. Every moment of doubt feeds limiting beliefs that silently whisper, "What if it goes wrong?" Or, "Am I capable?" Napoleon Hill made it clear. Lack of decision is the fertile ground where fear multiplies like weeds. And where fear reigns, there is no room for manifestation, wealth, personal development, or professional growth. It's like standing on the edge of a swimming pool, feeling the chill of the wind, imagining the shock of the water, instead of simply jumping in and adapting. Later, negative thinking infiltrates this empty space created by indecision. Without action, the brain creates catastrophic scenarios that paralyze any attempt at self-improvement. Mental reprogramming for positive thinking begins when you learn to decide quickly even in the face of uncertainty. Whoever decides, commands. Whoever hesitates, obeys fear. A powerful technique for breaking this cycle is Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, which is completely aligned with the principles of personal growth that Napoleon Hill taught so much. When doubt arises, count from 5 to
1 in your mind and act before your mind has time to generate excuses. It could be calling to close an opportunity, sending that resume, or even starting that professional development project that you've been putting off for months.
Abundance does not wait for those who hesitate. It is important to understand, indecision steals vital energy. Every postponed decision consumes mental fuel that could be used to manifest, create, enrich, act with self-discipline, and achieve extraordinary results. Instead of carrying the weight of what if, choose to carry the strength of I decided. And even if the result is not perfect, action generates movement, learning, and most importantly, eliminates the fear that paralyzes so many dreams. Real personal development begins when you understand that making mistakes quickly is infinitely better than not acting at all. Those who seek genuine self-help, which liberates, need to accept that wrong decisions are just stepping stones to success, not signs of failure. Thinking positive, making affirmations, wanting to manifest, all of this only bears fruit when accompanied by a firm and courageous success mindset in the face of choices. When a person hesitates, their subconscious registers, "We are not capable." When she decides, even though she is trembling, she registers, "We are leaders of our history." And here's the secret. With every small decision made quickly, fear diminishes, motivation grows, and the cycle of abundance becomes inevitable. This all starts with small daily choices, from choosing to get up early to choosing to trust yourself instead of giving in to doubts. But what if acting quickly still seems difficult? How is it possible to move when the desire to act is zero, when motivation seems to have evaporated overnight? That's where one of the most underrated secrets of self-improvement comes in, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Understand which importance of acting immediately, acting at the right time, which is almost always now, is what separates those who transform lives from those who spend years just dreaming. Every second you hesitate is a missed opportunity to strengthen your mind power and open the doors of manifestation. Napoleon Hill was always clear. Abundance belongs to those who move first, to those who trust action rather than waiting. Life rewards initiative, not delayed intention. And in practice, those who act quickly build a solid foundation to enrich and expand their own personal development. The habit of acting immediately is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Have you thought about starting that professional development course? Sign up now. Have you thought about applying a power statement? Repeat it out loud right now. Have you thought about reprogramming your mind for positive thinking? Take a pen and paper and write down 5 limiting beliefs that need to be eliminated right now. Small, immediate actions break the invisible chains of procrastination. When an opportunity arises and you don't act, you are sending a silent message to the universe. I'm not ready. And the universe responds relentlessly. The energy of manifestation understands movement as faith in action. Therefore, those who desire abundance cannot wait for motivation to appear, nor seek guarantees. Security comes after the action, not before. And here's the secret that few have the courage to admit. Acting is more important than acting perfectly. A practical example? If you want to develop self-discipline to overcome procrastination, choose something simple to do now, like organizing your desk, planning your day, or even intentionally drinking a glass of water. The simple act of starting builds momentum. Momentum generates motivation, and motivation generates a powerful current that drags you to great results in personal growth and wealth. There's a common trap that traps many people, waiting for the ideal moment. But the ideal moment is an illusion created by limiting beliefs that fear failure. The time is now. Every second of hesitation weakens the power of the mind and gives room for negative thinking to creep in. Those who understand this develop a success mindset that does not need permission to act. Just act. Napoleon Hill taught that success is not reserved for the most intelligent, but rather those who are quickest in making decisions and implementing them. True self-help is putting ideas into practice before doubts have time to gain strength. Personal growth requires speed. Every small victory achieved immediately sends a powerful message to the subconscious. I am able to manifest what I want. And now that you understand the explosive force that taking immediate action can bring to your life, you may be wondering, but what if I don't feel motivated? How do I create movement even on days when everything feels heavy? There is a practical strategy that can completely transform the way you deal with these moments, and it could be what you need to unlock your full potential. Learn how to create momentum even without motivation. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the perfect wind to launch a boat. It may never happen. Those who master the power of the mind understand that the impulse does not depend on the initial feeling, but on the decision to move despite it. Napoleon Hill insisted that movement generates its own energy. Action precedes emotion. And that's exactly where the secret of manifestation lies. Starting small, but starting now. Trusting that enthusiasm will ignite along the way. One of the most effective ways to build momentum is to use the 5 minutes of action technique. If you don't feel like working on a personal or professional development project, commit to just 5 minutes of the task. Often, what is missing is not energy, but simply crossing the initial barrier of inertia. Small steps overcome silent limiting beliefs and reprogram the mind to positive thinking instead of negative thinking. Another powerful method is to visualize the immediate result of the action. Don't think about the effort. Think about the feeling of accomplishment. Imagine how light it will feel when you finish reading a chapter of a book about personal growth, or the satisfaction when completing that task that seemed huge. Abundance does not only manifest for those who desire it, but for those who build the vibration of achievement through consistent micro-actions. And that's exactly why, if you're enjoying this content and want to continue receiving transformative insights, I want to ask you a special favor. Enjoy and like this video and subscribe to the channel. It is very important for the growth of the channel and for you to continue following content that accelerates your personal development, your self-improvement, and your conscious manifestation. Now, let's move on because there's still a lot of strong knowledge out there. When someone learns to act even without wanting to, they discover a strength that few know about. The strength of true self-discipline. And that changes absolutely everything. Anyone who depends on motivation is a slave to feelings. Whoever builds momentum dominates his own story. And in times when speed defines who prospers, knowing how to put yourself in motion without depending on emotional states is an advantage that transforms lives. To make this even more practical, create a list of small actions that you can take immediately without requiring a lot of energy. Organize papers. Write 3 ideas in the personal development notebook. Respond to an important email. Every action, no matter how small it may seem, ignites a spark that grows until it becomes an uncontrollable flame of manifestation and growth. But then, how can you make quick decisions without getting stuck in doubt or falling victim to anxiety? There is a simple but extremely effective strategy that can accelerate your ability to decide and act like great achievers. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Making quick decisions is not acting on impulse. It is trusting your own ability to choose wisely. Napoleon Hill said that decision is the portal through which all achievements pass. Those who take too long to choose feed negative thinking and weaken the power of the mind. Those who decide firmly send a clear message to the universe. I command my reality. Personal growth, manifestation, and professional development begin with agile and consistent choices. A simple strategy for deciding quickly is to use the criterion of congruence. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer or further away from the life I want to manifest? If the answer is close, move on. If you leave it, discard it without guilt. This daily practice strengthens the success mindset and eliminates limiting beliefs that persist in generating doubt. Those who decide in a way that is aligned with their goals create a current of abundance that is difficult to stop. Another powerful technique is to limit the time to decide. Giving yourself just 60 seconds to choose between two options forces the brain to rely on trained intuition and accumulated knowledge. When we leave a decision open for hours or days, we open space for fear to creep in. Indecision consumes more energy than any wrong decision. Decide quickly. Adjust along the way. This is how extraordinary results in personal growth and self-improvement are achieved. To maintain consistency, it is essential to create personal principles that serve as a compass. For example, I always choose what moves me forward, even if it scares me. Or, I prioritize what fuels my self-discipline, my professional development, and my mental reprogramming. Having these principles clear prevents fleeting emotions from contaminating your choices and strengthens your capacity for conscious manifestation. A real-life example. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, uses what he calls the regret rule. He asks himself, if I look back in 10 years, will I regret not doing this? This technique can be immediately applied to your life. When in doubt, think about your future self, rich in wisdom and abundance, looking at today's decisions. What choice would this version of you make? By building the habit of deciding quickly, you free yourself from the invisible shackles that prevent so many from achieving wealth and personal power. Every decision is an act of manifestation. Each quick and consistent choice is another brick in building your personal empire. Don't wait for absolute certainty. It never comes before the decision, only after. It is the action that transforms doubt into clarity. And maybe now you're asking yourself, okay, I've decided, but how can I keep moving without losing the rhythm, without letting my energy fade along the way? There is a simple but incredibly powerful method that turns small actions into gigantic victories. You will now learn about the importance of daily micro-commitments to overcome inertia. Great achievements begin with tiny commitments that seem insignificant at first glance. It is in small daily agreements that self-discipline is strengthened and the power of the mind expands. Napoleon Hill taught that the mind needs to be trained like a muscle, and this is done through the daily repetition of small intentional actions. Those who master the art of micro-commitments build a continuous cycle of manifestation, capable of generating abundance and personal growth almost automatically. A powerful micro-commitment can be something as simple as writing down 3 manifestation affirmations every morning before you even pick up your phone. It could be reading 2 pages of a personal development book like Think and Grow Rich, which is a true Bible of self-improvement. Small acts, practiced consistently, transform the mindset of success in a silent but relentless way. To overcome inertia. The secret is to define commitments so small that there is no plausible excuse for not fulfilling them. Something like 5 minutes of reading, 3 sentences of positive thinking, a note about a limiting belief that needs to be overcome. These commitments are seeds that, watered every day, grow into leafy trees of self-confidence, motivation, and abundance. And the most incredible thing, by fulfilling these small pacts, the mind registers a pattern of victory. Each micro-action performed sends a message of self-efficacy to the subconscious. This is how you reprogram your mind to act instead of delaying. Anyone who wants to become rich and develop professionally needs to understand that the secret is not in big bursts of effort, but in small daily actions that accumulate invisible strength. If you want to start today, here's a practical exercise. Establish 3 micro-commitments for tomorrow. Something as simple as meditate for 2 minutes, do 5 push-ups, or write down a business idea. Write it down and stick to it. No excuses. This practice builds a solid foundation for genuine self-improvement and puts you in constant motion toward manifesting your deepest desires. Building abundance and wealth begins when a person decides that small actions are as valuable as large ones. The power of the mind needs to be fed with daily victories. Each micro-commitment fulfilled is a brick in the castle of your mental reprogramming. The invisible discipline built in this process generates such great results that, in a short time, personal growth becomes inevitable. But there is an external element that can accelerate or completely sabotage this process. A silent factor, often ignored, that directly influences the strength or fragility of your daily commitments. And it is essential that you know how to control it. Few people realize it, but the environment where you live can be the greatest ally, or the worst enemy, of your personal development. Napoleon Hill already said that we are profoundly shaped by the influences that surround us. A chaotic, disorganized environment or one full of negative stimuli weakens the power of the mind, feeds limiting beliefs, and silently sabotages the manifestation of our deepest desires. If you want to get rich, grow, manifest abundance, the first step is to master your environment. Look around you now. Does your space inspire positive thinking, self-discipline, and motivation? Or does it invite procrastination and negative thinking? Mental reprogramming doesn't just happen inside your head. It's physically reinforced by the objects, colors, sounds, and people that are part of your day. An environment that breathes. Personal growth, like a clean desk, success mindset books in view, and visual reminders of your goals, is like an anchor for manifestation. Transforming the environment is often more effective than trying to change through willpower alone. Swapping an empty wall for a painting with a powerful phrase such as, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve," is a practical example that feeds the mind with positive thinking daily. Change your cell phone wallpaper to an affirmation of abundance. Leave a self-help book like Smarter Than the Devil on your nightstand to read before bed. Small changes generate big effects. Another critical factor is the influence of the people around you. Keeping people close to you who encourage your professional and personal development is one of the quickest ways to strengthen a success mindset. Surrounding yourself with negativity, complaints, and doubts is like trying to swim with anchors tied to your feet. Seek physical and social environments that breathe growth and motivation. The energy you consume daily silently shapes who you are becoming. A simple practice. Every week, choose a small adjustment in your environment to strengthen it. It could be changing what's on your desk, changing the soundtrack you listen to while you work, or even organizing your house so that everything that reminds you of procrastination is out of your field of vision. Each adjustment is a subtle reprogramming that makes positive thinking and the manifestation of abundance increasingly natural. Understanding the power of your environment is like discovering a secret key to manifestation. It's not just about changing the decor. It's about creating an ecosystem that pulls you to action, to motivation, to personal development, even on the hardest days. It's a self-improvement strategy that operates behind the scenes, but transforms your life in visible and powerful ways. But what's the point of building a supportive environment if small actions are not celebrated? There is a little spoken secret that differentiates those who stay on the path to growth from those who give up along the way. And that's what we're going to explore now. Celebrate small actions as victories. One of the most common mistakes made by those seeking personal growth is waiting to celebrate only great achievements. The problem is that, without celebrating small advances, motivation cools, self-discipline weakens, and the power of the mind begins to question whether the effort is really worth it. Napoleon Hill already said that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day after day. Every small action completed is a victory that needs to be recognized to keep the flame of manifestation and positive thinking alive. Imagine someone who wants to get rich. If they only allow themselves to feel proud when they accumulate 1,000,000 Rs, they could spend years unmotivated. Now, if she celebrates each new client, each small increase in income, each new skill gained, her professional and personal development will accelerate. Celebration creates a cycle of positive reinforcement that strengthens the success mindset and fuels the manifestation of abundance every day. A powerful technique is to create celebratory rituals. Completed a difficult task? Clap your hands, raise your arms, smile widely, thank out loud. It seems simple, but your brain interprets these actions as a sign of reward, releasing dopamine and strengthening the neural networks linked to positive thinking and mental reprogramming. Small internal parties build large emotional and financial empires over time. Another effective practice is to write down your daily victories, no matter how small they may seem. Creating an achievement diary is a powerful way to visualize your progress, especially in times when negative thinking tries to take over. As you review your small weekly victories, you will clearly see how you are getting closer to the abundance and fulfillment you seek to manifest. This practice strengthens your sense of competence and accelerates personal growth naturally. Remember, the subconscious does not distinguish between a big or a small victory. For him, victory is victory. Each celebration reprograms the mind to believe that taking action brings results. And this belief is an invisible fuel that drives motivation, self-discipline, and professional development exponentially. Celebrating small actions is like watering the tree of your prosperity daily. Many fail to move forward because they become prisoners of the feeling of, "it's never enough." This negative thought pattern is a cruel trap that sabotages the power of the mind and blocks manifestation. Therefore, celebrating is an act of self-help, a gesture of self-recognition that says, "I'm on the right path." This mentality generates abundance because it vibrates gratitude, vibrates fulfillment. Now, imagine if you could condition your brain to act before you even rationalize, like an unbeatable action machine. There is a surprising technique that few know about, capable of training the mind to move before fear or doubt have a chance to act. You know how to train the brain to act before thinking? I'll teach you now. Most people believe that they need to think long and hard before acting. But the truth is, in many cases, overthinking is what blocks manifestation, destroys self-discipline, and fuels negative thinking. Napoleon Hill revealed that fear and doubt only gain strength because we give them too much time to take hold. Anyone who wants personal growth and enrichment needs to master a rare skill: acting before the rational mind starts making excuses. Training your brain to act fast is like programming a new operating system for your life. A practical strategy is to adopt the principle of immediate action. Every time the idea arises to do something important, like starting a task, taking a step towards professional development, or making a positive statement, move within 5 seconds. No analysis, no internal debate. The mind needs to understand that the command comes from the decision, not the mood of the moment. Another powerful practice is creating environmental triggers. For example, leaving your running shoes next to your bed so that when you wake up, the first thing you see is a reminder to take action. Or put a post-it with the phrase "Speak Up Now" on the bathroom mirror. Small visual anchors reinforce mental reprogramming and help build a successful mindset without having to fight internal battles every day. Discipline becomes part of your environment. To reinforce this skill, it is essential to immediately celebrate each action initiated without hesitation. Did you get out of bed as soon as the alarm clock went off? Smile and mentally say, "I'm in control." Started that difficult task without thinking twice? Recognize it as a victory. Each recognition strengthens the neural connections that associate quick action with pleasure, accelerating the manifestation of abundance and personal growth. A powerful example? Think about high-performance athletes. They don't stop to think about whether they want to train or not. They act automatically because they have trained their brains to associate action with identity. You can also build this identity for yourself. I am someone who takes action. Repeating this out loud daily is a way to strengthen your self-image and accelerate your evolution. Training the mind to act before thinking also dissolves silent limiting beliefs that paralyze so many dreams. Each quick move breaks the cycle of procrastination, boosts motivation, and reinforces positive thinking. It is the daily practice that transforms vague intentions into tangible achievements. Manifesting abundance requires more action than just intention. And now that you know how to train your brain to act almost automatically, it's time to understand the final key that makes all of this sustainable in the long term. There is an invisible pillar that, when well developed, overcomes any form of procrastination and consolidates true self-improvement. Discipline overcomes procrastination every day. There is a brutal difference between those who achieve abundance and those who just dream about it. Discipline. Napoleon Hill was emphatic in stating that self-discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. It's easy to act when you're motivated. It's difficult to keep moving when the enthusiasm disappears. And that's where most fail. Discipline does not negotiate with tiredness. It does not argue with the desire to postpone. She simply does it. And, day after day, she builds an unshakable wall against procrastination. Whoever trains the power of the mind to obey discipline and not momentary feelings is light years ahead. Personal growth, enrichment, mental reprogramming, manifestation of wealth. All of this is a direct consequence of the ability to remain constant even on gray days. Discipline is the invisible root that supports the trees that bear fruits of abundance, fulfillment, and self-improvement. A practical exercise to strengthen discipline is the unbreakable commitment. Choose a simple but meaningful task and promise yourself that you will do it every day for 30 days without fail. It could be writing an empowerment affirmation every morning, walking for 10 minutes, or meditating for 3 minutes. It doesn't matter the size of the task. What matters is the commitment. Each day completed is a blow to procrastination and another brick in building your success mindset. Another crucial point. Discipline is not emotional rigidity. It's not about becoming insensitive or living in a prison of obligations. It's about loving your vision of abundance, wealth, and manifestation so much that acting toward it becomes an act of self-love. It's choosing to be true to your dreams even when the world seems to invite you to give up. And each choice of this nature irreversibly reinforces your professional and personal development. Positive thinking gains strength when it is supported by disciplined action. Thinking big is important, but acting every day in favor of that thought is what really moves the universe in your favor. Those who live waiting for motivation become hostage to circumstances. Those who cultivate discipline shape circumstances according to their desires and powerful beliefs. Discipline turns the impossible into routine. What seemed too big yesterday with daily habit becomes natural tomorrow. It's like training a muscle. At first it hurts, it's uncomfortable, it seems difficult. But over time, discipline becomes part of who you are. An individual capable of manifesting, conquering, and living fully, reprogramming their own life towards abundance every day. Now tell me, how many times have you found yourself putting off something that you knew could change your life? How many opportunities have you missed simply because you waited for the ideal moment? Maybe today is the day to break this cycle once and for all. Maybe today is the day to prove to yourself that you are much greater than any excuse. Remember, the manifestation of your dreams, the achievement of your wealth, your personal growth and your professional development do not depend on more information. They depend on action. What are you going to do now? Keep just thinking or finally become the protagonist of your own story? I want to know. What micro-action will you take today to defeat procrastination? Right here in the comments. Share your commitment, make it public, and strengthen your resolve. Your transformation begins with a choice, and that choice can be made now. And of course, if this content made sense to you, if it awakened that desire to act and truly transform, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This way you don't miss any content that can further accelerate your evolution towards the life you've always dreamed of. The best is yet to come, and I want to see you there. And do you see the video that is now appearing on your screen? He didn't appear to you by chance. Click and see, as it can also help you a lot.